think the Berkshire model, as now constructed, will have what they said in show business was legs. It will go a long time. And I think it will be quite creditable. And I think it has enough advantage that it will just keep going a long time. And I think most big businesses don't. If you stop to think about it, all the great big businesses of yesteryear, how few of them have really gotten big and stayed big. Of the really old businesses, only one stayed big, and that was Rockefeller's Standard Oil. And so we're getting up into a territory where very few people keep going well. But I think we'll be more like Standard Oil than we'll be like ordinary businesses, because I think we will just keep going. We will keep doing what we're already doing, and we'll keep learning from our mistakes. And the people up here are no longer all that important. The momentum's in place, the ethos is in place. It's going to keep going. And if you young people in the audience, I always say, don't be too quick to sell the stock.
Why don't we get more copycats?
Well, it reminds me of our mutual friend Ed Davis. He figured out to do an operation that was so difficult that he operated at the bottom of a dark hole with instruments of his own creation. He gave his own shots by Novocaine, 87 of them while he was operating. And it was a better operation. His death rate was 2% and everybody else was 20. And the other surgeons came to copy him. And they watched him. And I just said, well, I don't think I'll try and copy that. I think it looks just too hard to do. There's nothing in an American business school that teaches people to be like Berkshire.
Eddie Davis is the guy that, in effect, introduced the two of us. He was a famous urologist here in Omaha.
But people didn't try and learn his operation. And it doesn't look all that easy. It's very different.
It's slow, too.
And it's slow. It's very slow.
I think the slowness deters more people than anything else.
And the difficulty with being slow is you're dead before it's finished.
Well, that's kind of cheerful.
Geico to me is very much like Costco. And one of the reasons it succeeded is that they really feel a holy duty to have a wonderful product at a very low price. A lot of people talk that game, but very few have it just right down into the body and soul of the company. But Geico does. And companies like that do tend to grind ahead over time.
One thing you'll find about it, I think this is true about Costco too, certainly true about Geico, is that people don't come and go from there. We have practically no one from the rest of the insurance industry that's come over to Geico and they don't leave us. I mean, they really have their own idea about how it should be done, what should be done right, and it becomes very, very reinforced. And of course, it becomes reinforced by success. Is that true at Costco, Charlie?
Oh, Costco is unbelievable. And it reminds me very much of Geico. And I'm not surprised that both companies keep taking share. It's easy to talk the game, but living the game is something else. I mean, it's against the human nature of many entrepreneurial people to try and get the price down and the service quality up all the time. I mean, it's like wearing the ultimate hair shirt, and yet it works. We had a test of hyperinflation in Weimar, Germany, and the people who owned stocks in places like Berkshire got through, and they didn't prosper joyously, but they got through. And everybody else, practically, life insurance policies, bank deposits, you name it, got wiped out. And of course, if you create so much misery that you get a Hitler and a World War and a Holocaust and so forth, it's not a good thing to let things go that far. And so I don't like this huge confidence that all you have to do is just keep printing money and spending it. I think there's some limit to when that will work, and I am never going to forget Weimar Germany. And I don't think any of the rest of us should either. We can handle a little bit of subpar growth for some stretch or other, but it would be quite dangerous to let the whole damn thing blow up because a bunch of crazy politicians were printing money.
If you own a home, though, with a very large mortgage and you have incredible inflation, it wipes out the mortgage, and you've still got the home. I mean,
In Weimar Germany, they gave you the mortgage back at the end. Well, it's very interesting. That's the one thing they did right.
He's way ahead of me, folks.
I greatly admire the way you have lived a frugal personal life, even with your considerable wealth. How do you think your frugality has helped Berkshire shareholders over the years? And Charlie, are there any instances where you think that Warren's frugality has hurt Berkshire as shareholders?
Well, first of all, let's ask who is the more frugal between us. Charlie, who do you think?
Well, in personal consumption, Warren is more frugal.
Would you care to give an example?
Warren lives in the same house he bought for a very modest price, what, in 1950 something?
I bought it in 1958, and you moved into yours about 1960, didn't you?
Yeah, and I paid more.
But he designed his own.
Absolutely.
He designed his
He's
own
more
house.
frugal.
He did not pay an architect, right?
I did. I paid an architect $1,900. It was as much as 30% of the normal price.
Yeah. Notice how he remembers the details. No, I have everything in life I want. It's a very simple thing. If there's anything that money could buy, there are things money can't buy. But if there's anything money could buy that I wanted, I'd do it this afternoon. I wouldn't have any problem with that at all. I do not think that standard of living equates with cost of living beyond a certain point. I mean, up to a certain point, there's no question that it does. I mean, in terms of having good housing, good health service, good food, everything. But good transportation. But there's a point, I think, if anything, you start getting inverse correlation. My life would not be happier. In fact, it'd be worse if I had 6 or 8 houses or a whole bunch of different things I could have. It just doesn't correlate. And so having everything I have, I mean, you can't have more than that. And that doesn't really make any. It makes a difference up to a point. I mean, you can start thinking a lot differently when you got to X, but when you get to 10X or 100X or 1,000X, it just doesn't make any possible difference. But, Charlie,
The frugality basically has helped Berkshire. And I look out at this audience and I see a bunch of understated frugal people too. We collect you people.
But forget about it this weekend. The more you buy, the more you save at these prices, folks.
Pfizer is currently contemplating an acquisition that would allow it to move its technical holding company overseas and thereby save income tax expense and create shareholder value. Is this something you and Charlie would ever consider if it would create value for Berkshire shareholders?
I think the answer to that is no. What do you say, Charlie?
I think it would be crazy to be as prosperous as Berkshire and get our tax to zero while we remain this prosperous. That would not be a legitimate ideal.
Yeah. We could not have done Berkshire in any other country except the United States either. That's, and just look at what we've acquired and everything. America has, in a very, very, very big way, helped Charlie and I become very, very, very rich. Charlie?
I've got no complaints, and I look around at this group. I see you at breakfast. It's a very happy group of people. I don't think a lot of people are gnashing their teeth that somebody else has a little more.
But we don't pay. I don't want to make it holier than thou. This stuff. We don't pay anything beyond that. When we get all through figuring that tax on our 20,000 page plus return, we don't add a tip of 20% or 15% or anything. And we do certain transactions which are tax driven. We're in low income housing tax credits, which actually George Bush 41 congratulated me for, so it's bipartisan. The wind energy deals we do, the solar deals we do, they are tax driven to they won't make economic sense otherwise. So we follow the rules, but we don't begrudge the taxes we pay. We've earned a lot of money while paying U.S. taxes.